And ladies and gentlemen, I know you are all taught that only kooks say that fluoride isn't good for you. But if you'll just go to Infowars.com and read this one article by Kurt Nimmo, full of links to mainline universities and government research and even the EPA. Over 90% of the EPA's own scientists say, take it out. What are you doing? Even the American Dental Association 5 years ago said, don't have kids take fluoride pills or brush their teeth with fluoride toothpaste until age 6 because of dental fluorosis, and it weakens the teeth. It does not make them stronger. Don't believe me. Just search engine the term sodium fluoride or fluoridation of water cancer. You'll get hundreds of mainstream news articles. Okay? This is an absolute fact. And the Russians and the Nazis learned to put this in the camp slaves' water. There's a reason it seems like the average American is in a trance. You have been hit with a chemical weapon. This is a absolute fact. Now, on screen, this is not just a radio show. If you go over to prisonplanet.tv, you can watch us live. On screen, we have the Infowars.com article, but anybody can go to Infowars and read this article. Story on mystery substance distracts from fact that fluoride is a deadly killer. Now, this Team 5 news out of Boston, talking about one of its suburbs that it hasn't been fluoridating in the last year, talks about how whatever is in the fluoride that we're buying from China to put in our water is clogging up the machines and broke the machines, but this is what the city contract is, and so they aren't using it because it broke the machine. And it shows how of every bucket of the poison they put in the drainage system, in the filters, about a third of it is still there, and the city won't pay to have it tested for what it is. We know what it is. Okay, the top EPA scientists are on record. It is over 150 chemicals on average. When you hear the word fluoridation, that is a catch-all for hundreds of toxic waste chemicals that by law are authorized to be added to your water. Okay? And that's why, a few years ago, the top dentist who over a decade ago did the national campaign to get Canada's water fluoridated. We had him on a few years ago. He then found out, my God, this isn't calcium fluoride that actually is good for you and good for your teeth, a little bit of it. This is sodium fluoride and other molecules of it, and hundreds of other chemicals. It's 150 on average. Some water systems over 300. We got a tour of the Austin water treatment plant, 6 months ago. They wouldn't let us videotape, and it showed where when they dump the fluoride in it eats holes in the concrete if any of it dribbles out. And they gave us the paperwork that over $1 million a year is what Austin pays for bags of toxic waste. Now, here's the issue. The media is freaking out about the mystery substance, but on the newscast, they show the bags of fluoride, and it says deadly poison, attacks all the organs, will kill you. So there it says deadly poison, and they're dumping it in the water. We'll be right back. For prisonplanet.tv viewers, you can see this screenshot from the Boston TV station. We'll put it back up on screen again. And it says sodium fluoride, danger, poison, toxic by ingestion, target organs. This is what it's targeting. Heart, kidneys, bones, central nervous system, gastrointestinal system, teeth. Do not get in eyes. Do not ingest, do not inhale. Use proper respiration. A screenshot capture from the WCVB TV report reveals fluoride added to drinking water is a deadly toxin. So what's the issue here? This isn't just about fluoride. It's about mind control and propaganda. Here's a newscast where they're saying, we're so worried, for the last year or so, we haven't been putting fluoride in your water because we're ordered to buy this fluoride from China, and it's something else is in it, and it's clogging all the machines. Look at all this gook. Look at all this garbage. Look at all this sludge. We need to get the fluoride to the children. We need to make sure people read it. And then they show at the water treatment plant the bags. And we saw these same bags in Austin. They wouldn't let us videotape it. I'm going to have to get like a FOIA request or order it or something, because people need to see this. So on the bag, it says deadly poison, targets the organs, absolutely devastating. And then they'll say, well, there's only 1 to 3 parts per million. Well, studies show that that causes a 10 IQ point reduction if it's drunk for just 5 years by an adolescent. And see, it builds up. Nothing, according to the toxicologist, neurologist, and scientist we've had on here, medical doctors and researchers, nothing builds up worse in the body than fluoride. It's one of the smallest particles on the periodic table. It is just absolutely tiny and deadly poison. But the whole newscast is about, oh my gosh, there's something else in it. And after we heard about melamine in China, after we heard about lead in the toys and all these poisons in the jewelry, we don't know what the Chinese are doing. Well, Austin buys its fluoride from a company in Florida, hundreds of chemicals in it. Hundreds of other deadly chemicals, not just fluoride. So I want to play this newscast for everybody out there, and I want to explain something to you. Even if you drink bottled water or filtered water, you absorb it when you breathe it in the shower or bath, and the biggest organ in the body is the skin. The skin. And this is so deadly, and it is in one particular book on World War II, a Pulitzer Prize-winning book that we have linked in this article, where the Nazis, when they were friends with Stalin, when they split up Poland together, learned of this, I.G. Farben did, from the Russians. And Stalin was putting this in their labor camp workers' water. Alexander Solzhenitsyn, who spent, 6 years in a forced labor camp, wrote about this. They put in your water what the communist Russians and the Nazi Germans put in slave and death camp water supplies. Now, I have John P. Holdren, eco-science book, where he says we want to put stuff in the water supply to reduce your fertility. And what does fluoride do? It reduces fertility. It makes you passive. It attacks your bones. Let's go ahead and play the short newscast so we can analyze it. Here it is from Massachusetts.
The water in Amesbury is supposed to have fluoride in it, but Rob Damaris has been concerned for years about what's in the supply he gets from China. The residue you see here is what won't dissolve when he puts the fluoride powder in the water.
What is that?
We don't know.
You have no idea what's in there?
I don't know what it is. It's not soluble. And it doesn't appear to be sodium fluoride, so we're not quite sure what it is.
Damaris says the residue clogs his machines and makes it difficult to get a consistent mix.
For almost a year, these fluoride pumps in Amesbury have been off, and the water department says they'll stay off until they can figure out what's in the fluoride.
The Department of Public Health says more than 650,000 customers in 44 communities are getting the product in question, and only Amesbury has temporarily stopped using it.
But despite those concerns, we want to be clear. Both state and federal health officials tell Team 5 Investigates Chinese fluoride is safe.
The New York company which supplies the fluoride in question says it is certified by the National Sanitation Foundation, which assures the quality of the product. And despite 1,000 complaints, the Centers for Disease Control also says it's safe, although testing continues to determine the precise composition of the residue.
They should test it to make sure that what they're putting in is safe for us to drink.
Paul Stewart lives in Newburyport and believes he has a right to know exactly what's in his water.
On the same day that I read the story about the fluoride coming from China, I also read stories about the melamine that was being contaminated in the milk products coming from China, that Abercrombie and Fitch actually pulled some of their jewelry off the shelves because it was contaminated with cadmium coming from China. And then we had another story about more lead in kids' toys coming from China.
Since 2007, most of the sodium fluoride has also been imported from China because it's the least expensive on the market.
I don't think that when it comes to something that I ingest every day, the lowest bidder is good enough.
I'd like to be able to add it in, worry-free.
For Team 5 Investigates, I'm Kelly Tuthill.
Okay, now that is mind control. They show the bags that say deadly poison, attacks every organ, attacks your bones, fluoride. And of course the federal government certifies it. They allow over 300 chemicals to be added. Most companies put 150 in. And that's the sick joke. Austin pays $1.2 million. I've shown the paperwork here on air 6 months ago when we got the tour. And the name of the company. The particular company Austin buys it from in Florida is where they mine limestone and crush it up. And in the limestone are the chemicals that they need for fertilizer. But then they have all this poison byproduct that by law you can't put in crop fertilizer. And so they take out the poison and put it in your water. Here's something people will get and understand. Go to Home Depot. And if you buy fertilizer for food plants, tomato plants or whatever, it will not have all the toxic chemicals in it. But if it's lawn fertilizer, it will say, do not use in agriculture. Poison. But that runs off into our water and into our water table. And it's the same crud. And so they can't get rid of it, and it brain damages us, and they'd have to store it or get rid of it. And so they say, okay, we'll just feed this to the American people. We will force medicate you.